Today, food insecurity is challenging both families and food banks. But the good news is that many people of faith are stepping up in beautiful ways to help. There's a ton of hope coming your way right now. Welcome to 100 Huntley Street, and we are so excited today to share with you some financial spending hacks that will help you save money in real-life practical ways. And I'm joined again by Will McLaughlin, CEO of Christians Against Poverty, or CAP. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We love having you as a co-host this week, and I really want to dive in right away because you know, sometimes these little things feel like they're not making a big difference. So what impact do little adjustments make on the overall budget?
Yeah, great question. And so often we think it's got to be something large and dramatic to make a real difference. But if we look at it and pick up some small little things and we're intentional with those, that can have such a big difference because we take one little step at a time.
Yeah, that's so true. And I know, this matters too, because Canadians are struggling right now to put food on the table. So Canada's Food Price Report says the average family of four is expected to spend, this is very specific, $16,833.67 on food this year. And that's actually up $801.56 from last year.
Yeah, and that's why we want to share some tips for you for grocery shopping on a budget, because we know this is a challenge. And number one, you're probably already saying this at home already, make a meal plan and create a list of what you need instead of impulse shopping the aisles, maybe buying a little bit too much in the chip or ice cream section, which is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, anything in the aisles, right? They say, like, stay to the outside because even that hamburger helper, even though it's fast, maybe not the best, but try to shop the outside. And also use ingredients you already have in your house. Now, I have a friend who just, I call him the fridge cleaner because he just looks in the fridge and he just grabs this, and then he makes something amazing. Awesome. I have to follow a recipe, but still using what you already have so it doesn't go bad. I don't know about you, but I feel guilty when I'm throwing stuff away. Like, what a waste.
Absolutely. So, what a great skill to have. What a great friend to have.
Right?
The other thing, we could look for promotions or weekly deals. There are even apps that can help you track sales or the brochure that gets delivered to the home. Lots of different ways to make things that little bit cheaper and just stretch our dollars.
I love this. Okay, and then number 4, try going meatless one day a week, getting your protein from beans or tofu. Now, if you like tofu, I think that's good. I myself chose the bean route. I actually try to do this once or twice a week, just beans and rice.
Great.
I like beans and rice. Yeah. It's no big deal. And meat is a little pricey, so that saves you at the end of the month. Saves you money.
Excellent. And sometimes because of time, we might think, well, fast food is a cheaper option. But when we add that up, it actually can become quite expensive. If we go for a couple of combo meals, 2 kids' meals, it's $13.69 a burger, $5.49 for the kids' meal. And for a family of 4, that's $38.36. And with tax, $43.35. So it does add up really quickly.
Right. And we're not telling you just what not to do. We're going to tell you what to do. So we have an idea for you, which is making tacos at home. So, if you compare the cost of what you could buy, the ingredients to make tacos, which is not hard, ground beef, onion, lettuce, tortilla shells, maybe some cheese, that could be about $25. And then if you substitute the meat in it for some beautiful black beans here, that could actually cost you $15. But we actually did it. It cost us $13.12. Of course, the seasoning is a little bit more, but if you make that from home, it can save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and that was actually made by our producer, right? It's a secret recipe, so...
She said Google it, and you can find lots of them online.
Absolutely.
So good. Well, food bank usage is also up 90% since 2019. I couldn't believe it when I saw that figure from Food Banks Canada. This increase in usage is something we've heard from so many ministries. And I know that food banks and ministries are finding it challenging to meet the needs. So here's a little bit more on that issue.
Food insecurity is just the mystery of when or if there will be a meal on the table at home or when they're at work or when they're at school or when they're just running their daily life. It's the thought of, will I be able to eat tonight and where will I be able to get this food and how will it affect other parts of my life? Do I have to decide between transit and food or how can I acquire those things?
Honestly, it was scary. I was always worrying constantly, if I don't work this day, like if I didn't work one day, it would affect me. I wouldn't be able to buy groceries. I wouldn't be able to get to work.
Right now it's so expensive to get food and it's going up. Also rent is super expensive here. So we have to pay rent and then groceries, and we are paid minimum wage. So food banks help a lot.
The high cost of food has very much affected our whole food bank in almost every area and in our community. So we recognize that just going to get food for the community, it's not like here in the city where you can go to the corner store or grocery store. For us, it's a half an hour away to our closest town, or an hour. If you want to go and get better sales and deals, it's an hour away. Before the pandemic, we recognized our regular numbers in families and that were coming in. It might have been anywhere from about 60 families a month. During the pandemic, it was probably close to 200 families in around that amount. And so we expect it to go right back down to normal now that we're done, and that hasn't happened. So we're still getting in the hundreds.
One thing I have noticed over the last 3.5 years is the face of hunger has changed. At one point, it was just the homeless, but now we see seniors, we see students, we see, for example, in our own city, the food bank, their demand is up over 50%.
It's people like you and me. It's people that own their own home. They have their own car. One couple had to sell a car in order to be able to buy food for their family. You know, in a day, it used to be, 20, 30 people in a day. Now we're seeing 150, if not 200 in a day, and that's what we're feeding.
We've seen an increase just in the food bank alone of 200% just since last April, coming to the food bank, so the youth accessing. And I just think it's still going to be an ongoing and growing challenge for a lot of people.
So this issue is why we're bringing you these tips today. And Will, it does feel really precarious at times, and it's really scary to think that just one unexpected life event, a disability, a job loss, can actually cause you to be in so much want.
Yeah, and that's why we're so thankful that there are those resources for people so they can access when they're in need. But even food banks are struggling because of the demands at this stage.
Yeah, right. We saw that in the report. That was crazy. And of course, we know a lot of food banks are run out of local churches. Mm-hmm. Now, your organization, CAP, says that the church can help people get out of poverty. How does that happen? Yeah, well, the partnership with the church is really about equipping and inspiring those local churches to walk alongside people who are struggling with financial insecurities and try and bring some practical help and compassionate care. And in those ways, the church just gets to see people's lives transformed. It's a really beautiful thing. It is a way of showing God's love, I think. Mm-hmm. And so we went to Hope Bible Church Oakville to learn how they're serving their community and teaching about financial stewardship and giving practical tools and advice. Take a look.
Well, the Bible teaches us a lot about finances, money, and stewardship. I love the principle of stewardship as a whole, biblically speaking, because we've been entrusted by God with resources. We've been entrusted again with opportunity, and how we steward that is really going to be super important. The reason Hope Bible Church Oakville is so passionate about this issue, because it really comes down to the transformation of the heart. So whether it's our deacons ministry helping someone with their finances, whether it's our soul care ministry helping someone with, again, issues of sin, whether it's different areas, again, of counseling or our youth ministry, we are so passionate in seeing lives transformed towards the image of Jesus Christ. And it just so happens that issues of finances and stewardship are a big, big part of that, as the Bible so clearly says. Again, at the end of the day, this is an issue so much greater than money itself, but it happens to be one of the key indicators of where the heart is or where it isn't. But as a church, we want to prepare people to be as fruitful as they can for Jesus Christ in his kingdom for this very short life we have. That's another big thing for us, man. We're here, it just comes and goes. The Bible's so clear. We're like a mist and a vapor, and the grass withers and it fades. And really soon we'll be standing before the Lord Jesus Christ to give an account of what we've done, again, with what he's entrusted to us.
47% of Canadians are living bill to bill and dipping into savings to cover higher cost of living. Because of this, Hope Bible Church Oakville is leaning into holistic ministry, including helping people who are struggling financially.
A few years ago here at Hope, our elders decided that our deacons needed to be a focus of ministry for our church. What we do with our deacons ministry is care for our congregation in practical ways. And the practical ways that you're talking about, where they're struggling financially, they can't make rent, they can't put food on the table, or maybe it's a job situation. We thankfully, in our deacons ministry, we have members of our church that are experts in the financial field, and they're willing and wanting to use their expertise and their gifting to help those that are struggling. And so we've come alongside those that are struggling in the areas of budgeting, in the areas of tax problems, in the areas of debt, and also in career counseling, because all of that often can lead to a financial struggle. And so we've been able, through this ministry within our deacons, to be able to support families within our church in this area for the practical care.
In addition to offering these practical supports, Hope Bible Church has partnered with Christians Against Poverty, a credit counseling agency that works with local churches to give people life-changing freedom from debt.
What we've seen is when we're helping those in a financial crisis, sometimes it's much bigger of a problem than just tweaking someone's budget or finding them a new job. It could be a debt that's, from an amateur's perspective, unmanageable. And when we learned about Christians Against Poverty, is a credit counseling agency that can do all that heavy lifting of figuring out a new budget plan, of putting a debt plan together that would have the debt paid off within a few years. One thing we really love about CAP is they take off that emotional strain that a lot of people have of just receiving calls from creditors, and knowing that they can send those calls to Christians Against Poverty instead of dealing with those calls themselves has often been a real uplifting opportunity for the person who's in debt. And then what it gives Hope Bible Church the opportunity to do is we then come alongside that person who's in debt, and we can be an encourager, we can be a prayer partner, we can be the ones holding them accountable, while Christians Against Poverty is the ones doing all of the behind the scenes budget planning and debt organizing. What we love also about Christians Against Poverty is their focus and understanding of the importance of the local church, that it's not just about getting out of debt, it's about ensuring that those people who are in crisis know that there is someone who is in control over that crisis.
36% of Canadians feel shame towards their financial situation. This shame may be holding them back from seeking help.
As we get help, then the grace, God is so eager to give grace. He's so willing to forgive. He needs us to be in a place where we're willing to get help, though, right? So we can't let shame push us away from the very agents of help and love and grace that he's put around us in the church and for organizations like Christians Against Poverty and all these things that are happening as well. So that's super important for us to understand. And again, so I'm praying for the humility and the willingness to say, man, if I can get these issues out in the open and get help, my life can truly change. This is what we've seen. Like, I've seen the ministry all around me, but it takes a work of the Spirit. It takes a true humility. At times it takes a repentance, but a willingness to say, I can't do this on my own, right? Which is called life, right? The body of Christ is set up as the body to help. Again, we are a collective whole ministering together. We need each other so much, whether it's this issue or other issues as well. So again, not easy, but absolutely possible, right? For people to say, yes, I've made a mistake, but this is not the end. My last decision is not my, final decision. I'm able to see how the help might come, and we need each other and getting good counsel in that regard as well.
We've seen the programs through CAP change lives, change the demeanor of people, change their sense of hope, and change their sense that, yes, something can be done. I think of that verse from Isaiah 43. It says, the Lord will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And Christians Against Poverty often, what I've seen, has been the way that the Lord is giving to show someone, yes, we can walk through this wilderness together and we can get out on the other side.
Michael Joshua leaves us with that hope from Isaiah 43, verse 19. I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And maybe that's for one of you today as you're sitting at home. That's the verse to cling on to.
Yeah, I think some people do feel like they're in a financial desert and it's hard to know if there is a way out. And that's why those resources really matter. Now, if people are sitting at home and they're like, it's hopeless, you don't understand my situation, have you seen people find hope and find a way out even when it looks overwhelming?
Oh, absolutely. And most of the time, it's a long journey. If anybody guarantees a quick fix or a solution, especially if it's on the internet, maybe best to ignore that because it is going to take time. But walking through this means that you can build relationships, connections. And so that's one of the beautiful things we've seen from folks. And it's the reality of being able to know I'm not in this alone. I've got somebody walking with me. It's just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's really what CAP gets to do. And I've noticed in life that credit institutions, car loan people take advantage of people who are already struggling financially. Like, oh, I'll give you a car loan even though your credit's bad, but I'm going to charge you like 25% interest, or you know what I mean? It's like only the people who don't need it get the good rates sometimes, which I think is so terrible. And that's why you have to be careful of those scams or those promises of everything. But I do think the beautiful thing is the way that CAP walks with them. You don't have to do it alone. We don't have to figure it out by ourselves. We may not have all the answers, but you guys are experts in the field.
Yeah, and it's such an honor. Like, it feels like really holy ground for us to be stepping on, to walk alongside people, to get to hear people's stories and be able to speak into that. Like, it's such an absolute gift. And to see churches being able to do that well is just so encouraging. Like, such a beautiful mission field.
I love the fact that you guys aren't just doing it, but that you're equipping the church. Like, it is a beautiful thing because churches know their community. They're the ones that reach out to people, and they're the ones that people will connect with long into the future, long after you guys have gone.
Absolutely.
I think it's so beautiful. I hope some people are watching who want to sign up for this, And Jane was somebody who felt really hopeless about her finances, but when Kat actually came to her church, she decided to give it a try. Here's her story.
I couldn't afford things that I should have been able to afford. And I had to borrow money. I felt a lot of shame, especially for my family. I was in a lot of debt, and I was also in denial. After 6 years of not being able to make ends meet after a bankruptcy that I had, I wasn't able to pay my bills. I'd lost a job. I was having a hard time finding another job.
Everybody's got a story, and sometimes the stories aren't that nice, but I just have a lot of admiration for people who work their way through the story, through faith especially, and then end up someplace that they probably never thought they'd end up.
Our church had an announcement that they were going to be offering this CAP course. And I thought, okay, well, I can at least try it. It might not be exactly what I need, but I can at least try. And it turned out to be what I needed.
I'm so encouraged by Bruce because here's a guy who's retired, but he still wants to serve the kingdom. He's able to take what CAP has trained him in and partnered with him in, but then also use his personality and his pastoral way to serve in a way that's meaningful and making a difference.
People are amazed that, number one, they can have control. They get people to think, okay, this is just not about numbers. This is about how I make my decisions.
It was a little overwhelming when you first look at the book, I will admit, but you're not doing the whole book in one day. You're going step by step, you're learning at each step, and you learn how to handle money.
The opportunity that CAP provides to come alongside real people in their real situations, I think, is an opportunity for the church.
I was more aware of my spending. I was more aware of my income that was coming in. I was learning how to pay what needed to be paid first, like the bills. No credit cards, because that's what started the whole debt process in the first place.
Well, Jane is one of my heroes. So she has been so faithful. She's such a good volunteer, and she's willing, but approaches everything recognizing, listen, I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try.
I could go and ask him questions, and I didn't have to be embarrassed about what he heard, because he'd heard it before. And since then, we've become good friends. Like, we'll sit and have a coffee. We'll chat every week.
It opens her future up into a place of freedom. And I think that to me is such a beautiful testimony as part of what the Money Course does, but also what any church should be trying to accomplish. All the tools have been provided, all the training has been provided. CAP has been there every step of the way. For anyone who's given to CAP, it is rippling out to real communities across Ontario, across Canada, in a real tangible way. You're making a difference.
It's just totally worth it.
Okay, so if you're saying that my church needs this right now, if you're a pastor, you work at a church, go to capcanada.org. There's lots more information there. But, you know, well, I think about people watching this, and there is a shame that's attached to financial challenges. Like, I should know better. I should do better. Why did I do that? I mean, I've totally experienced the regret of a financial decision and just gone like, oh, I'm so dumb. Like, you talk to yourself in ways you should never talk to yourself.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody watching right now who maybe is in that place of just like, you know, I'm not good at this. I made mistakes. I have so much regret. Like, I think regret is really a thing.
Absolutely. And 74% of Canadians would say that they think more about money than they talk about it. And that means it sits in our heads, and the enemy can sow lies. And it's such a challenge. And I think that's really why we want to bring this into the light and talk about it in a healthy way and in a way that honors the Lord as well.
I love that. And, you know, if that's you and you're just like, I feel like I'm caught in this web of debt or this web of lack or poverty, you know, which more and more Canadians are experiencing. I don't think there's any shame in that. But I do think like prayer does make a difference too. So I admire Jane so much because she made the hard choices and she changed the way that she did things. But also, you know, we could use some help from above too, even in the discipline, even in the strategy and the connection. So I just want to encourage you, if that's you, call our prayer lines. We would love to pray with you about this. Maybe get rid of that shame and that regret today and just, you know, walk into new freedom, even in your own mind and heart. That number is 1-866-273-4444. You can email us at prayer@crossroads.ca. And of course, we want to be part of destigmatizing this conversation. That's why we're doing this today. So we all feel more comfortable asking for help, asking for prayer. And speaking of kicking shame to the curb, personal finance expert Tim Sesnick dives into why this is a topic we aren't talking about as often as we should.
Money is one of those topics that we don't always talk about with other people. It's something we often keep very private and very quiet. And I think there's different reasons for that. I think we often tie our money to our identity and our self-worth, which we shouldn't be doing, but many people do. And so that can result in certain people being embarrassed by what's going on in their lives. Maybe they've accumulated a lot of debt. Maybe they have lost a lot of money in a bad investment. Those are not things we enjoy sharing with other people. But on the flip side, there are people who are very successful financially. God has blessed them. And they too might be very quiet and very private with their money because perhaps they don't want to be boastful. Or in other cases, people may be concerned that, you know, someone wants to be their friend because they have a lot of money. Or is that the real reason someone wants to be your friend, or do they just enjoy your company? People who have a lot of money have issues too. I've seen people who feel guilty about the fact they've inherited money because it's not something that they were given by God, but it's something they've inherited from somebody else, and they worry about how to spend that. So there are a lot of emotional and mental issues that go along with having money or not having money. I think the important thing here is that if you're struggling with debt or making poor investments, or you don't understand how to do certain things with your money, make sure you ask, get help. You can find financial advisors. If you are having difficulty with that, you can reach out to Christians Against Poverty. There are groups there that can help you financially. And the key is to not be silent when you need the help, because our money is not something we can always do on our own. Can't manage it well on our own necessarily. Advice is really important in these situations. So again, don't be afraid to talk about it. It's a taboo subject for some people, but don't let that be the case in your life.
Feeling overwhelmed by money stress and shame? You're not alone. Too many of us carry the quiet burden of debt, anxiety, and fear around finances. But there's hope, and you don't have to walk this road alone. Join us Saturday, November 22nd for Moving Forward in Faith and Finances, presented by Crossroads and Christians Against Poverty. A free event with encouragement, practical tools, and spiritual support. Go to crossroads.ca/faith and finances. Your journey forward begins here.
Okay, I think what Tim said is so important, because even, there are financial advisors whose job it is to advise you. I always think that they advise you when you have something to invest, right? Yeah. But I mean, even a credit counselor, why is it so intimidating to show people your true financial picture? Because you feel like they're going to be just criticizing your every decision, right?
Oh, completely. And I think with the conference, that's one of the hopes that we have, that we can really look at some of these fears and insecurities that we might carry and really say, let's put that in its right place. Let's listen to what the Lord would like to say to us, because for so many of us, our identity is in our paycheck or our wallet or what's in our bank account. And we can sometimes forget that our identity is actually in Jesus Christ.
And it's interesting, too, because life has its ups and downs. So you might have been born wealthy and then, go into a period of maybe not having that support or those resources anymore, or the reverse, poverty and riches. It's up and down, right? And we can't put our value in anything except that God loves us and He created us to be someone amazing. Now, this conference is free.
Yep.
Free of charge.
It is.
Okay, so get out your calendar right now. Let's mark that down. November 22nd, free of charge from 9 to 12. You don't have to tell people anything you don't want to, but it's here at the Crossroads Unity Commons, which is in Burlington, Ontario. The address is there, 1295 North Service Road. And if you want to find out more, you can sign up at crossroads.ca/events. So now, Will, if I'm going to the conference, maybe I don't want to tell you everything about my finances. What happens? What's going to happen there? What's going to happen to me if I go?
Yeah, well, we're not going to shine a light in anybody's face and say, you must tell us everything. Or show us what's on the app on your phone right now. But it's really taking a few moments in time to just think about our finances. How do they affect our mental health? How do they affect our sense of identity and self-worth? And it gives a little bit of space and time as well, just to think, what do I want my next step to be? Because this takes time. It isn't a quick fix, like we've said a few times. And it's just creating that space in our lives. So we'd love to see you.
Yeah, we just want you to know, more than anything else, there is hope today. And maybe today is the day of the start of a journey. It might not happen overnight, but if you start today, you're going to get there. So I hope that you're encouraged. Make sure to join us for the rest of the week. Bye.
Thank you for your ongoing support of Crossroads, a supporter-funded nonprofit organization and member of the Canadian Centre for Christian Charities. Thanks to faithful people like you, we are able to continue producing 100 Huntley Street. You can write to Crossroads, P.O. Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R4M2, or visit crossroads.ca to learn more about our programs.
Hello, I'm Kevin Shepard, CEO of Crossroads NES TV. I have some exciting news about what God is doing here, and I want to invite you to join our special community by becoming a monthly member. And here's why you should. Inspiration. Our content uplifts and inspires, and as a monthly partner, you help share the hope of Jesus with so many. Impact. Crossroads is more than media. We provide 1,300 prayer interactions daily, offering comfort and biblical resources, and your membership makes an eternal impact. Global missions. We respond to disasters and partner with NGOs for relief and rebuilding. By joining, you care for those in need. As a Crossroads member, you join like-minded community. You get exclusive content, friendly support. You can attend member events and stay informed. Becoming a member is simple. Choose your monthly level and payment method, and we hope you would join us, make a life-changing difference in people's lives today. Thank you for your commitment to our shared vision.